Hi there, I'm Natasha. This is Always Be Crafting. It is Saturday morning, and on Saturdays I sew. So welcome to my craft area, my sewing area of my craft room down in the basement of my house where the lighting seems to be flickering today and the outside world seems to be threatening to rain, but I think that's pretty much normal for where we are. Right now, it is September 28th, 2024. So it is Hurricane Helene is down in the south of the country. We're up in the northeast, but we get the storm surge sort of pushed our way. So we had rain all day yesterday. Looks like it's going to be rainy today. It is what it is. It looks like a perfect day to stay inside and sew, if you ask me. Couple things before I turn the camera around and just sew, because I have not showered yet this morning. I'm getting my hair done on Tuesday, so you see more gray than I would like. Just the joys of getting older. Yesterday, because of my work schedule, one of the preschool I was at on Fridays, they had picture day. So I actually had a shortened morning yesterday, which means I was out early enough to squeeze in one fabric store before picking my son up from school. And I went to a store that was new to me, but not a new town. It was a town that, not the town of Newtown. Sorry. My brain went on a little vacation there. So to find out there was a quilting store in Orange had me flabbergasted, because I'm like, how did I not know? And it's on the main drag. It's like on the big road, which means I've driven past it numerous times. I went there yesterday, and I know why I've driven past it, because from front facing, it's very unassuming. It does not look like a fabric store. Front facing to the street, it looks like vacuum repair, and they sell like window treatments. It doesn't say anything on the front of the store about quilting cotton. And it looks very industrial. So I can see why I've driven past it a number of times. Even when I drove in, I had the address correct. Even when I drove into the parking lot and parked my car, I was like, am I in the right place? This does not look like a quilting store. But the address said I was in the right place, and the little teeny tiny sign said quilt supplies on it. So I was like, I guess I'll go in. And I'm so glad I did, because everyone inside was beyond lovely. And they had a decent supply of fabrics and supplies. Like, I was really impressed. Not only do they do like sewing machines, because they had a huge machine selection. You can tell that they probably came from the background of machines. Like, this was probably a store that started out as like vacuums, sewing machines, Like, it was a machine focused store once upon a time that has now segued into other things. But it was amazing. It was amazing. Like, I really enjoyed my time there, and every person was delightful. The store is called Close to Home, and they apparently have 3 locations: Glastonbury, Orange, and Southington. So I went to the Orange store yesterday, and I met other shop hoppers briefly who were from like different parts of the world. Like, one was from Colorado, one was from Nevada, and one was from, I think, one of the Carolinas. I don't remember which one. And this is what they do. They just go on shop hops. They plan their trips, like their vacations, around shop hops, and they give themselves, like, they were in the store for like 20 minutes max. Like, they plan their time to just literally hop from shop to shop. And they are on a time limit. They do the thing. They check the thing off the list. They look around. I'm not sure if anyone bought anything or if they just got stamped in their book, but they looked around like they were going to, like they were on a mission. Like, one woman was looking for something, like her quilt had to have like twigs or something. Like, she was looking for fabric with twigs. And so the store owner was like trying to, like, oh, what about this? What about this? Not really twiggy. She's like, not twig, like, she was very focused. But I guess if you're traveling across country, and this was like her 3rd shop hop of the year, which means she'd already like shop hopped an entire other state, an entire other area, like, you're already putting a lot of money into the travel expense. and hotels and gasoline and everything else. I'm not sure if they drove, if they rented a car. I don't know how all that works. I didn't get into it with them. But I'm like, it's got to be expensive to just be a shop hopper. So when you're in a store, you have to be very focused. You're only buying what you need because A, you're traveling. You can't carry everything with you because you're not going home and dropping it off like me. So I could spend money. Not that I spent a lot of money, but they had some good sales. They had 1 yard cuts where if you bought it off the bolt, it was 20% off, where if you bought it from their bin that was already pre-cut, they were like $10 each, but you buy 2, get 1 free. So I could get 3 yards for $20, which I thought was pretty decent. It's pretty decent. Most nice quality quilt 1 yard is usually $13 to $16, depending on the fabric itself. And fat quarters, which are usually about $4 a yard, $3.50 to $4.50, somewhere in there. They were $3.75 a yard, and if you bought 2, you got 1 free. So I did buy a couple of fat quarters and a couple of yards because I found things I wanted. If I wasn't going to find things I wanted, I wasn't going to buy them. But I found things I wanted, so I bought them. And I like to support local businesses. So I'll show you what I bought. So for the fat quarters, I bought 3 of the exact same fat quarters, which I know seems silly, but I didn't see this fabric in the yardage section, and I really liked it, and I have a plan for it. So it's not going to look like, if you've watched me long enough, you know I'm like usually into really bold colors. This is not bold colors, so you're going to be kind of confused. I'm not sure if you can tell what that little design is. So first, it's very like natural color, almost like creamy coffee color. And the little design on it is teeny tiny little music notes. And if you've been around a little while, you know I'm a music teacher. And I thought, and I have this event coming up next week, and I was looking to put together a new tote bag for some items, and I have this idea. Should I just tell you the idea, or should I make the idea first? I think I'm going to make it first and then talk about it, because, you know, I don't want to jinx myself. Sometimes I talk about things, but this is like an idea that's brewing and has been brewing for years. And I don't know why I feel like very passionate about making something this way, because it's very simple. It's not like a hard thing at all. I'm not reinventing the wheel, but for some reason I feel very drawn to making this one very specific thing. Very simple, very clean, but almost like a signature item. Does that make sense? Anyways, I'm going to make it, and then I'll tell you what it is. All right. And then the 3 yards I chose, I thought this one was adorable. I'm obsessed with lettering. Like, I love letters. I love letters, and letters that look like they were typed with kind of splotchy ink. That just gets me. I don't know. I haven't even opened it up to find out who the maker of the fabric is. I just love it. Let's open it up. Let's find out. But I really liked it. It is called, let's find out who this fabric is. Oh, it's by Moda. Of course it is. I love a lot of Moda fabrics. I'm not surprised. It's a Moda fabric. Always keep a little beach day in your heart. Oh, so I bet if I paid more attention to what the words were, I would see more beach words. I'm gonna have to look at that more in depth later. I just saw words and I loved it. All right, and then here's color. I actually pulled out like 5 different fabrics, and then I put them on the counter, and then I would put back, like, I tried putting each one back, and if it hurt my heart to put it back, I was like, nope, I guess I have to keep that one. And I tried putting this one back. I'm like, nope, I have to keep it, because it like hurt my heart. ABCs of Color by Jennifer Heyman for In the Beginning Fabrics. That's what that is. I really like that. I really like those colors. And the last one, again, this was one I tried to put back, and it like physically hurt my heart. Not like I don't have like 1,000 other floral prints. I mean, really, Natasha, you don't have enough flowers in your life? Apparently I needed more. All right, let's see what this one is. And this one is Sunday in the Country by Natalie Letty or Leet, I'm not sure, for Anna Maria's Conservatory. And that's a Free Spirit. That's a Free Spirit one. I think it's so beautiful. So those are my 1 yard cuts. And oh, I picked up another quilt binding spool. I don't think I have this color, but I might. I don't know, because I love these things. I use them all the time for my quilt binding. So I'm like, oh, I can't. It doesn't really hurt to have another one of those. And I picked up another seam ripper because it never hurts to have another seam ripper. But not only that, this kind of seam ripper is my favorite. It's just my favorite. I mean, you can't really go wrong with a seam ripper, but the kind that has an eraser, the best. And I love purple. That was a little bit of an impulse buy because it was at the cash register and I had to wait in line because there was a line. So it was an impulse buy. But I bought it. I love it. What can I tell you? I'm making this morning, I'm finishing off my book, my iPad case from So Hungry Hippie. It was part of the August book bag, surprise book bag. The August surprise book bag. Like, you know, you get your surprise box. It was a bag. Here's the surprise vinyl. Look at that. It's books. It's so cool. I just followed the pattern exactly, and I hope my iPad fits. So I'm just finishing that up. We have to sew those layers together. And the other pattern that came in that, try not to show you any details, is from Crafty Gemini, which is the zip pocket notebook, which, yeah, I'm hiding the actual measurements on there so you can't see those. So I think I'm going to make that next. I'm not positive because I like that. Oh, here's the one from So Hungry Hippie. Here it is, the iPad case from So Hungry Hippie. We got two patterns in the August book bag. I'm finishing the iPad case, and then I think I'm going to do the notebook. I might do something else. Here's my problem. It's not a problem. It's a good news. I get to see a friend that I grew up with, someone I met when she moved to town in 7th grade, 8th grade. We met in middle school. And I'm from the West Coast. I live currently on the East Coast, but I'm from the West Coast. And if you're not from the United States, that's really far away. It's like 3,000, 4,000 miles. I can't even remember how many thousands of miles. It's really far away, 4 time zones. So, I grew up on the West Coast. I grew up in California, in case you couldn't tell from my voice. And, she moved to town, like out in middle school, and we became friends pretty quickly. And, we've stayed friends. And she's like the kind of friend that you can go years without talking or seeing each other, and then you see each other, and it's like nothing ever, like no time is lost. Like the friendship just stays. And we've been coming into and out of each other's lives for years, and it's always wonderful. Love her to death. Love her, love her, love her. And I haven't seen her, like physically seen her, since the COVID pandemic. Like that's how long it's been since I've physically seen her. And she lives now on the East Coast. So she does not live 4 time zones away. She lives in my time zone. Like I moved to the East Coast, and then a few years later, she moved to the East Coast. Like there's no reason why I can't see her more often other than our lives get busy and we're far enough away from each other. It's like about a 3-hour drive to each other, and it's just usually never like a time where we can drive that, either of us can drive that 3-hour drive. And I don't know why we don't meet up in the middle more often. I guess mostly because our schedules don't align to meet up in the middle more often, which is stupid. And there have been a few times where like she was coming my direction, but I was not available. Like I couldn't see her because I was in Vermont or something visiting my son, or I was heading her direction, like when we were college visiting, thinking my son might go that way, but she was like at an all-day conference. You know what I mean? Like it was never, we haven't been able to see each other since the pandemic. And now I'm gonna see her tomorrow. So I'm saying it's not a problem. This is awesome news. But I love to give things to people. Like, gifting is my love language, right? And I wasn't bag making since the last time I physically saw her. So I've never made her a bag. And now I make bags all the time. So I'm thinking I need to make her a bag. And I don't know what to make, because yes, I've known her for 3 decades. We've been friends, very good friends for decades at this point, but I don't know what her life is exactly right now. I mean, I kind of know, we talk, but I don't know what she needs, because I don't get to see her and like see what she's doing on a daily basis. I don't get to see what she needs. So I don't know, do I just make a simple little, just something small that like everybody needs? And then do I just do like the fabrics and colors that I remember I think she would have liked? I can't imagine that her passion or style has changed that much. And I think anything I make, she's going to love, because I know her well enough that she would just love anything. But anything I make, she would be appreciative of. But I want it to be perfect, like I put a lot of pressure on myself that I want to make her the perfect thing for who she is right now, not just who she was when we were in middle school or high school or college or just out of college or just married. It's like we've known each other through all these stages of our lives, and now we're all, we're menopausal and we're gray hair and we have different needs. And I don't know. Like, I can't say, if someone had said to me 10 years ago, Natasha, you're going to love this floral fabric, I would have looked at it. And at first I've been like, that's too much pink. Because 10 years ago, I was not as accepting of that much pink in my life. I'll be honest. Purple all day, all the color all day, but pink, I was kind of like, okay, pink was reserved for old ladies. Like 10 years ago, pink was reserved for old ladies. And I don't know why. Maybe because I'm older. I don't know why. Maybe I'm softer. Maybe because my kids are growing. I don't know why I allow so much pink into my life now, but now I have a ton of pink. Maybe because the pinks are better pinks. Maybe 10 years ago, pink was too, I don't know, cotton candy. I don't know why 10 years ago I wouldn't have allowed a pink cabinet, like this drawer set. If I had bought that in the store, I would have been like, no, it needs to be lime green. Like, it needed to be just a different color. Like, it could not have been pink 10 years ago. Like, that would not have worked for me. So I don't want to pick a color that right now is just like, it's not that it's a bad color, it just wasn't speaking to me 10 years ago. So I don't want to pick a color that's not speaking to her right now. Does that make sense? I'm overthinking this. I'm spending way too much time talking about this. I just need to crack on. I'm going to finish the iPad case. I'm going to clean up, because this place, it always gets a mess. Like, that's how I work. I am a chaotic crafter. I like to work and toss and work and toss and work and toss. And eventually all the tossing starts to creep in, and then I need to clean. And I've also been talking for 20 minutes, which is way too much talking, because you guys probably want to be like, all right, let's see some action. And then the action's going to be sped up footage, so it's only going to take a couple of minutes. So the majority of this video is me talking. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I haven't talked too much. And if I was talking too much, hopefully you just put your finger on the screen and just like listen to me at double time. Because sometimes I do that. Sometimes I love the people I listen to, but sometimes I just put my finger on the screen and I listen to them at double speed. And that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me talk to the void. Thank you for being in the void. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day, and let's see what I make. And I hope you're making something. Hopefully you've just left me on in the background. Oh, I do want to show you one more thing, because this is serious, and I need other people to know this exists. In case you don't know this exists, and this is the last thing I'm talking about, I promise, but I've been meaning to talk about this for too many weeks, because menopause has hit me like a freight train, And I've been having like weird leg cramps, and my potassium's really low, and my doctors are trying to figure out what's going on, and I'm taking these horrible potassium pills that give me stomach aches. Blah, blah. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But I love to sew, but I can get like really focused on sewing and then I'm sitting for too long. And I don't know if that happens to anyone else when you're doing something and you're sitting for too long. And when I was 25, I could sit for hours and it didn't affect my body. I could hop up and go for a 10-mile walk. It was not a big deal. But now I'm 49, and if I sit for more than half an hour, it hurts to stand up and walk. So I have a timer. I'm gonna reach behind me, and there's lots of different timers out there, but I love this timer. I got it at Target, and it has 15, 30, 45, and 60. And all you do is tip it. So now it's going to 45 because the 45 is on top, and then you tip it over and it stops. Do you hear the beep? So if I want it for 60, all you do is tip it. So all I have to do is decide how long I want to sit for, and then I'm going to stand up, and all I have to do is tip it. So there's no like turning a dial. It is like the easiest timer on the face of the earth because all I have to do is tip it. And then it's really loud and annoying when it stops. So I will be setting my timer so I don't sit for too long. And then when it goes off, I will stand up and I'll do my exercises. I'll do my lunges. I'll do my stretching. I'll shake a little bit, and then I'll get back to work. So hopefully I'll film a whole bunch of stuff that will be more exciting, and maybe you'll see my timer go off, or maybe you'll see me stop weirdly in the middle of a stitch. And you'll be like, oh, her timer went off, because that's what I got to do. If you're having issues, get yourself a timer. If you're disorganized, get yourself a timer. If you have ADD, get yourself a timer. People say it all the time, and I'm here to share the good news. If you haven't heard, get yourself a timer. Get whatever timer works for you. This is the timer that works for me. There it is. That's my plug. That's my extra 3 minutes of nonsense. Thank you again for watching. I'm going to set my timer, get to work. I'll turn the camera around, set my timer, get to work. Have a great day. I hope you're making something fun. Always be crafting, right? Bye.